Johnny Murray here, and welcome to a brand new video. Today we're going to be taking a look at the PlayStation State of Play that just happened yesterday at the time of recording this. It was May 30th, the day that the PlayStation event went live, and we're going to be talking about it, going over a bunch of my feelings, and a bunch of just doing like a recap over the event, seeing what games were there, which ones stood out to me, which ones I thought were notable, which ones I didn't really care about, and just kind of giving an overall thought, because I see a lot of I guess to say controversy over the event, and there was a large majority that were not particularly fans of the State of Play, but then there were some that are defending it and saying that it was pretty good, and I think a lot of it just comes down to expectations. And so I'm gonna just go ahead and give my overall thoughts on the showcase, and then we're gonna get into some of the games and talk about what's next for PlayStation, because I think it's going to be a huge talking point, and what I think we should be talking about is what's next from them following the State of Play, because whether we like it or not, it happened, it's done, it's in the past. Now we move forward, we look forward at the games, we look forward at what's next from PlayStation, and that's what's exciting, and I think that's the big thing to take away from this. Me personally, I play pretty much everything that comes out, and I love almost anything. As long as it looks interesting, I'm gonna play it. It's as simple as that. I love playing as many games as I possibly can. So anytime an event happens now, I look at it as it's just more games. You know, like I could always want more. Man, I wish Ghost of Tsushima 2 was there. I wish a new God of War, a new Last of Us was there. But it wasn't. But there are still games that I'm probably going to play in there, so I'm really looking forward to those. And those are the things I want to focus on, not what wasn't there and what was there. Because I think what was there is something to talk about. And I feel like people should be doing more of that instead of complaining about what wasn't there. So if you guys love gaming, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo, anything, third party, whatever, consider subscribing, share with your friends, leave a comment down below. What did you guys think of the State of Play? We're going to be doing constant videos, especially within the coming weeks with all these events happening. So if you want to stay up to date and just hear my thoughts on everything, definitely consider that. Any support I do very much appreciate. But yes, so the PlayStation State of Play for May 30th of 2024. My overall feelings, you know, at the end of the day, like I just said, there are some games I'm very excited for now. There are some games that I was definitely super happy watching the trailer for. There were games that I'm just excited even got something in general. And then there are games that I found interesting, but at the same time, there were a lot of games that I really didn't care about, or that I thought didn't really need to be in the showcase, or not even showcase, State of Play. And so overall, I think the event was okay, but to be honest, that's kind of what I expected. I didn't really expect anything big or whatnot. I was hoping I'd see a few games that I enjoyed and got excited for, and that is what happened. So overall, my feelings are, I would say, positive, but you know, I'm definitely leaning towards the side of I don't think it was a great show. I think it was kind of mid, to be honest, just because I don't look like there is one game in here that honestly might be a game of the year contender for me now, and is like probably in my top 3 most anticipated games at the moment. But you have to look at it as an entire show, and I get it. There will be people who make an argument, well, if there's that one thing, you know, the show was great, that's fine, but then when you go to a different show and the same thing happens, keep the same standard and keep that same argument, because I feel like that argument can be used a lot of places. So in terms of my overall feelings for the show, I thought it was kind of mid, but there was some things that I was very, very excited for, where at the end of the day, the event's over now, I'm looking forward, and those are the things I'm excited about, and I'm super happy about it. Speaking of those standouts, let's talk about the number one, the game of the show for me, and the one that I'm so much looking forward to. Top 3 most anticipated game now. It looks absolutely incredible, and that is Astro Bot, man. They finally announced a new Astro Bot game, and I've been saying for a while now, Astro Bot: The Playroom is honestly one of the best games on the PS5 that you can play right now. It comes free with your PS5, and it is just amazing. It showcases the features of your DualSense controller, and is basically like a 3D Mario platformer in the form of a PlayStation celebration. There are PlayStation cameos from all these different franchises in the game. You can see Kratos from God of War, Nathan Drake from Uncharted. You can see a Hunter from Bloodborne. You can see Ratchet and Clank. You can see all these different PlayStation franchises in this game, and it's like just a delight from start to finish because it's just so fun. It's like your Mario platformer, but PlayStation. And people have been asking for Astrobot to go to the next level and for a new game, and here it finally is with Astrobot. Now, I'm going to be doing another video on the channel soon, doing like a deep dive on Astrobot, talking about what the game means for the franchise, what to expect from it, and my overall thoughts on it. But I'm just, for this video, I just want to say it just looks absolutely insane. It looks like they're doubling down on all the cameos and crossovers. The level designs look superb. The colors and visuals are just amazing. It just looks like an absolute blast. Easily one of my most anticipated games, and I am absolutely in love with that game. Marvel Rivals was also given in a trailer. Now, I think this one will definitely speak to a different demographic than Astrobot for sure. But recently, I've actually been playing a lot more live service games. I've been getting into them, and this has been one that has gotten me so excited just because I think it genuinely looks amazing. And I've heard so many great things about it that I'm really glad it was at this show and it was announced to be coming to consoles, because I was a little bit bummed that it was only on PC. Especially for a live service game, you really want to get as big of an audience as possible. So making it go multi-platform is a great thing. But they also showed some new characters like Venom and Adam Warlock, which I think look really cool. I think all the characters look awesome. Like, there's not one character I've seen yet that I'm like, looks kind of boring. All of them look amazing. And the visuals are awesome. They also showed like how there's like destructible environments, like environmental destruction. There's like a building falling over, like a ceiling collapse. Bro, it was awesome. The game truly does look amazing, and I'm super duper excited to play it. It is easily also one of my most anticipated games right now, just because of how fun it looks and just how badly I want to play it. And yeah, that's how it goes. And then there's only one more standout to me. When we did the PlayStation reaction at the end, we had a nice discussion. Me, Austin, and Christian. Shout out to them. They all have their opinions on the showcase as well. I will say Christian was a little more negative towards it, which I completely understand. And honestly, I kind of lean towards that direction as well. But there was also Austin, who was a little more positive on it, and I do understand that direction as well. Especially I feel like for him, there was a lot more that was pointed directly at him, like Astrobot and like this next game, which was Monster Hunter Wilds. By the way, if you guys want to go see their opinions and thoughts and everything, definitely go check out our reaction. We have a nice, like, I want to say almost like an hour-long discussion. No, it wasn't an hour. It was like a 30 to 45 minute discussion about it. It was great to talk about them. Absolutely wonderful. But Monster Hunter Wilds, man, this is the other standout for me, and this is a little bit of a tricky one to talk about, because I think this is a standout for me just purely because of how excited I am for the game, not because of I think it made the show better. Because when I look at what they actually showed, I'm really glad we got to see Monster Hunter Wilds, and I am excited for the game, but I don't feel like what they showed raised my excitement levels, because at the end of the day, I don't know if they could show anything to make my excitement levels go higher, just because I kind of know what I'm expecting from Monster Hunter. I've played Monster Hunter World, I've played Monster Hunter Rise, and I really like both of those games, and I kind of already knew what I was getting into Monster Hunter Wilds, and what they showed, it was not a lot, but what they showed, it looked great. As always, as most Monster Hunters do. And yeah, it just more or less solidified that, yeah, I'm just ready for this game, and I'm ready to sink a bunch of hours into it, because that's what Monster Hunter does to you. But at the same time, I don't think what they showed particularly wowed people. Not that, like, the game didn't look good. It did look good. I just don't think they showed enough, and I don't think they showed anything that made people go like, oh, this is what the next installment of Monster Hunter needs to be. It just looked like more awesome Monster Hunter, and I think that's all it kind of needed to be. But in terms of the showcase, it's not like the biggest thing of when I think of the state of play yesterday. I think of Astrobot, not Monster Hunter, and I do think that's just because of the quantity and just the way its presence at the State of Play. Also, they announced Monster Hunter Wilds will be at Summer Games Fest. And so it kind of takes a little bit of that importance of it being at the State of Play away. But nonetheless, it is still a standout for me because it is easily one of the most anticipated games out of that State of Play. But the problem here is where everything starts swaying about this State of Play is originally after reacting to it, I thought, oh yeah, there was actually like quite a bit of good stuff there, and I was very excited in the mood because Astrobot was just showing it looked fantastic, and I was like, you know what, I actually did like it. But after sitting on it for a day and watching a bunch of podcasts, watching a bunch of discussions on it, I slowly came to the conclusion that there really wasn't as much as I loved as I thought I did. Those are the only 3 that I can say I loved at the State of Play. Everything else I'm either interested in or don't care about. And so let's get to the notable games here. Starting with the other big one that most people are talking about right now, and that is Concord, which is another first-party PlayStation game, which is one of their live service games, which has been confirmed to be a 5v5 arena character first-person shooter. To me, it looks like Destiny gameplay, low-key, mixed with like just your like Overwatch style, but the art style is very I would say like Destiny, and it looks like Guardians of the Galaxy low-key, and I think the game has potential. I just don't have confidence in it, and I don't think, again, I think this is also goes to why I am not overly positive on the State of Play, is that I again don't think what they showed was what they needed to. Instead of doing a like dang near 5-minute CGI trailer explaining story, they need to tell you what you're going to be able to do in the game. They showed gameplay, yes. I could easily tell you we were going to be able to shoot in the game. I could easily tell you we were going to have abilities. But they didn't explain game modes. They didn't explain features. They didn't explain progression. They didn't explain how team comp actually works. They didn't explain anything. They just showed shooting and cool special effects. And unfortunately for a live service game, that doesn't sell it. And especially for a live service game, you don't spend 5 minutes with story. I'm all for live service games having more story, but to sell a game and getting people hyped for it, you do not do that. And I think that's its biggest issue. While I do think it has potential, I think what they showed wasn't particularly strong. And I think that also adds to why everybody's not superly high on the State of Play. I think that's kind of an overall consensus of the State of Play as well, is there were some good games, but at the end of the day, an event is what they show and how they show it. And I don't think what they showed of a lot of these games particularly hit people the way you would want to. And I think that's where a lot of the negativity comes. I get being upset like Spider-Man DLC wasn't there. Ghost of Tsushima 2 wasn't there. Bloodborne wasn't there, right? But at the end of the day, if what they showed didn't excite people, people aren't going to be positive on the event. And I think from a lot of people's point of view, for a lot of these games that they were curious about, what they showed wasn't very strong. And I think Concord is a really good example, especially since they spent the longest on that game during this show. But nonetheless, I do think it has potential, and I'm very interested to see more because I think it has potential. But moving on, a big surprise actually for me, which I'm not a really big fan of the series. Well, I've barely played the series. I think I've played like one, and I know about it. But this was definitely a notable one for me. Like, this is one I'll keep my eye on, but it wasn't a standout for me, and that is Dynasty Warriors. Dynasty Warriors Origins. I think it's really cool that we're getting another one of these. It's a very unique franchise where it's just like hundreds of enemies, and you're just hack and slash and everything, and it's really, really cool. I'm really glad to see another one of those. But you know. They didn't really show much. It just looks cool. Pretty much moving on. By the way, Astrobot did get a September 6th release date. Concord with an August 23rd release date with like early or like testing or something beta in June. And then Monster Hunter Wilds still has a 2025 release date. Dynasty Warriors also got a 2025 release date. Where winds meet, again, I think it looked really cool, but that's as far as it goes. And I think outside of Astrobot, everything just looked neat. It looked good, but we don't know. We don't know anything about any of these games that they actually showed. They just showed it. They didn't go in depth or elaborate on anything. I think that is where a lot of people's negativity comes from, because where wins meet in the showcase, it looks like a Soulsborne. You have bosses. You have these awesome set pieces. All right, I am very excited for this game. Until you then do research afterwards and find out it's a open world sandbox game. That is not what that trailer showed whatsoever. So now my expectation for the games has completely fluctuated. I don't think open world sandbox is necessarily bad, but it's not what I expected nor was interested about the game when I saw it. And when you do look at it, it looks like it has neat gameplay. It looks like it has some cool boss encounters. But what actually is the game? Is it Soulsborne or is it hack and slide? That's my biggest problem with the state of play. While I'm interested in a lot of games, which is my biggest takeaway, is that just I'm excited for games, I don't know that what they showed was good enough. And I think that's where we have the issue. Now, I put this in notable, but I will do a little spoiler. I'm fairly negative on this game right now. And that is Silent Hill 2 Remake. It's in notable because it finally got a release date for October 8th, and that is really cool. But personally, I think something just looks kind of off about the game, and I have some issues with it. I will say this state of play did not do the game justice, because what they showed, again, kind of like the last state of play, didn't wow me or anything. But the Silent Hill transmission that happened afterwards, where they showed like 13 minutes of gameplay, definitely got me more excited for it. But it still opened my eyes to what my actual issues about the game are. And I'm going to be doing another video talking about Silent Hill specifically coming up soon, so make sure to check that out. I have a video about Astrobot and Silent Hill 2 coming out, and those are two that I'm going to be covering. But yeah, it's notable because it did get a release date, and I know a lot of people are excited for that. God of War PC, God of War Ragnarok got a PC announcement for September 19th. I'm glad to see PlayStation continuing to support PC and broaden their horizons. But then other announcements that you might want to just know about in case you just want a full recap. Infinity Nikki, which is a Chinese-developed game. We said Korean in the reaction, but I figured out it's actually Chinese. And yeah, it looks interesting. I mean, it looks like a game, man. Path of Exile 2. I know a lot of people are pretty excited about that one. Skydance's Behemoth and Alien Rogue Incursion are two VR games that they showed. I think this state of play also confirmed that PSVR 2 is headed out the door. I think 2024 will be the last year we actually see PSVR 2 games. Alien Rogue Incursion is cool just because it's like a IP, but we didn't really see much about it. And then Ballad of Antara, again, looked cool, but what is it? Turns out it's like multiplayer co-op. Turns out it's like free to play, and it's just... Again, what they showed didn't sell games outside of Astrobot. I think that's the big problem. No one sold on any of these games except Astrobot. And Until Dawn. Again, we kind of just already... It's kind of like Until Dawn and God of War PC are kind of like on the same boat of like, we knew it was coming. I'm glad it was shown, but it didn't really do much for me in terms of the show. But it again didn't get a release date, which I thought was kind of weird. But yeah. And then like I said, I'll be covering more on Astrobot and Silent Hill 2. But let's talk about what's next for PlayStation, because at the end of the day, the event's over. It's in the past. People can argue, complain all they want. At the end of the day, I'm looking forward to a good handful of those games. Definitely excited for three of them, 100%. But I think there are some interesting ones as well. What's next for PlayStation? Because what we know right now is their first-party lineup outside of Astrobot and Concord is dry until March of 2025. They've already confirmed there is no major franchise games releasing until March of 2025, or other words, this physical year. So... what's next? Where do we move for this? Like, because at the end of the day, something may not release, but you have to get marketing. You have to start advertising. You got to start showing people what is your roadmap, what is going to keep people invested in being excited for PlayStation. And there are rumors, of course, as rumors happen for the end of 2024 or September, where they're going to hold a showcase. But I have a big issue with this because this happens consistently. Oh, rumored showcase gonna happen 3 months from now. Then we get to that month, it's like, oh, rumored showcase happening like next week, and then it transforms into a state, and then it transforms into a rumored state of play, and then it becomes a state of play, and then it happens. Sometimes it'll be mid, sometimes it'll be great, and so I'm not believing any of those rumors because, yeah, we could say it's going to be in September. We could say it's going to be in December. But every time we get there, rumors start changing. And it's just the same process, rinse and repeat. And if you fall for that, that is your fault. It's a clear pattern. All right. But, yeah, so the question is, though, where will they show it? Now, I do believe they will have something in September, whether it's a state of play or showcase. And we know they're going to have more state of plays this year. I'm going to guess 2 more state of plays. I don't know when they're going to be. And I hope they have a showcase. My goodness, I hope they have a showcase. It'd be awesome. But sooner or later, they are going to have to show some big first-party games because people will not wait very much longer. We're okay waiting right now because we can just assume things aren't ready. But I can only go for so long before Xbox starts infecting them. But there is rumors that they will show up at SGF, in other words, Summer Games Fest. I think this is where we do hear something of them. And to be honest, I wouldn't be surprised if this is where we see one of their big games be announced. It could just be a teaser. It could be a logo. It could be something. But I do think they are going to show something here. Or it's going to be a complete side turn and they're going to show more Concord or they're going to show more Astrobot. I would love seeing Astrobot, actually. I'd love to see a full level playthrough of Astrobot. I think that would be really cool. Maybe show how one of the crossovers is going to play out. But I do think PlayStation will be at Summer Games Fest this time. And I'm very much looking forward to that. They showed Last of Us Part 1 before at one of Summer Games Fest, so I don't see why they couldn't do something like that again. Maybe the Horizon remake. Who knows? But when we look at what's next for PlayStation, we really don't know. And I think we need to figure out something. But at the end of the day, we do have Concord and we do have Astrobot and we do have Silent Hill and Until Dawn, which those aren't first party per se, but they are some big games coming exclusively to the platform. So there is that to look for. And if you're on PC, you got God of War. But other than that, yeah, man. Overall, I thought it was an okay state of play, but at the end of the day, it's about the games, guys, and I'm super excited for a lot of the games that they showed, and I'm interested in a lot of them as well. Astrobot looks like a masterpiece. Marvel Rivals looks fun as ever. Monster Hunter Wilds looks like another great Monster Hunter game, and we got more information on some of their upcoming games. But that's going to do it for me, guys. Like I said, I'm going to do another video on Astrobot and Silent Hill 2 very, very soon. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you liked it, definitely leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe. Do all that stuff. I appreciate all the support you guys give me. I'll see you in the next one. Johnny Moore out. Peace.